Hello, stray viewer. My name is Mahnster Hunter, and there's a lot of talk lately about predictions and potential leaks for the upcoming title update number 3. Specifically, this important aspect right here. Chaotic Gore Magala is considered a variant species of a Gore Magala that failed to molt into a Shagru Magala. Though the roadmap does say variants, being plural, we're just here to talk about the most anticipated one, or should I say the expected one. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to record my 3DS, nor do I have a way to set up an emulator. I don't know how. Believe me, I'm trying my best, but we're just going to have to go off of Generations Ultimate footage for this. I also mainly play as a female character, so you're only going to see the Nephilim side of the armor instead of just the Chaos 2. Sorry about that. There's no feasible way to predict the unique armor skill that Chaotic Gore sets will have, but we could always predict what skills will accompany it. The way that 4U and GU armor works is a tad different, and I'd like to cover both of those. In 4U, Chaotic Gore armor had Free Element plus 10, Attack plus 10, Destroyer plus 10, Fencing plus 7, Critical Element plus 6, and Fate minus 10. The good old days of negative skills. Funny thing about this set, you essentially have 2 functioning skills and 1 functioning against you. For those of you who may not know, Hidden Element did not start in World. Just putting that out there. Fencing and Critical Element aren't even finished, and negative 10 Fate brings bad luck, which means less rewards, which means you might have to sacrifice 1 decoration slot so you can be not at bad luck. What strikes me as odd is that whenever the devs make the armor, I've noticed some patterns. So either the set provides skills that assist in fighting the monster the set came from, a particular monster, or the environment. Another one is that the set is made to mimic a monster's behavior or biology in the form of combination skills or gimmicks to fit a particular playstyle. And lastly, the set has skills that benefit either the weapon that accompanies it or a particular weapon or weapons in general. My whole point with that? They kind of beefed it up in 4, and I'll get into that more when I get on the weapons. Thankfully though, they somewhat improved that in Generations Ultimate. The skills in this are Attack Up plus 10, Frenzy Res plus 10, Brutality plus 10, and Fate minus 10. Same thing as 4 with the Fate, but again, you can offset that with just a singular Fate decoration. Unless you don't care about rewards and you just want to slaughter as fast as possible, then go for it. This armor set was way better as an offensive set. Attack Up aside, you didn't get Frenzy from anything except Gore Magala, so they added in this hunter art called Frenzy Fever, where you would essentially give yourself the Frenzy, and it acted as the regular one does, where cleansing it gives you affinity and recovery speed. However, if you had Frenzy Res, it would increase the affinity gained, make it like you had Critical Eye 3. On top of that, the unique armor skills in GU gave you 2 or more skills in 1, Brutality being such armor skill. Brutality gives you Critical Eye plus 2 and Weakness Exploit, literally a free 70% affinity on a weak spot on top of your Frenzy Res. If you paired this with a Chaotic Gore Magala weapon, you could easily hit 100% affinity on top of Tenderizer. So speaking of the weapons, let me highlight the description of the weapon for you. An X weapon whose affinity changes when its wielder overcomes the frenzy. Keep that in mind. Each weapon type has below average attack power, low dragon element, decent white sharpness, and a split in the bar for affinity. The left representing your affinity when you have not overcome the frenzy, and the right representing your affinity when you do. The affinity values differ from weapon to weapon. Now circling back to 4U armor, the weapon already has Dragon Element, so Free Element is a waste here. Attack Up is piddly, but because it's paired with only Part Breaker, which is probably just to assist with breaking its parts, which are notoriously tough. Though if that's the case, why did they only add 7 points of fencing? It doesn't make any sense. Mind's Eye would seriously help with the deflection that's sure to happen whenever you hit its 4 legs. Or 4 wings? Its arm wings? Whatever you want to call those things. And then leaving Critical Element unfinished as well. It's almost like they just slapped like a bunch of skills together and called it a day. Compared to GU's set, there was clearly more thought put into how they wanted these weapons to operate with this set. But what example would the devs follow when it comes to Chaotic Gore Magala gear in Sunbreak? I'm thinking possibly a combination of the two. Free Element and Frenzy Res aren't in this game, and neither are negative skills, so those are out the window. But it's more than likely we'll see a set that has the Bloodlust skill copied from Chaotic Gore Magala that may have a slight spin on it. There's also potential for either Coalescence as the gimmick raw increase, or Attack Up as the flat raw increase, but not all the way up to 7, possibly up to like 3 or 4 or something like that. Then you cannot forget about the critical skills, possibly critical eye and weakness exploit like we saw in Fatalis Armor and Iceborne. There's also the possibility of at least element exploit or critical element, but more than likely going to be critical element, seeing as element exploit was kind of unique to what do they call that, Silver Rathlos armor. But there's also the potential that they could make those Gore Magala parts build into an element exploit decoration, as we've seen some of the other decorations being made off of armor skills that we thought previously were going to be unique and only attached to armor. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to add a defensive skill, so there may not be room for defensive skills or utility skills like Constitution or Speed Eating, but there may be Recovery Speed or Recovery Up. It really depends. I'm not thinking they're going to add any of those. They're probably going to make it a purely offense-heavy risk and reward set, just like how they did with Shagaru's iteration in Sunbreak, as opposed to all the other ones that came before it. So as a full set, we're probably looking at unique armor ability, Attack Up, Coalescence, or both, critical eye, weakness exploit, and some type of elemental related skill that isn't directly just dragon attack. As for the weapons, hopefully they keep the weapons the same to encourage either one of two things. One, negative crit rampage skill being used to offset not having the armor skill, and the fact that most of the weapons nowadays, they don't have as much negative crit as they used to. Or making a low, raw, high elemental crit weapon that benefits greatly off of having at least the unique armor skill. I'm excited to see if Chaotic Gore Magala actually shows up. If not, hey, it's no skin off my back, because I'm still looking forward to Risen Teostra and Kushala Gems giving us those sweet level 1 decoration slots so I can make my Mudron weapons out of this world broken. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, so see you tomorrow with another video.